garden today. It's the 18th of September and we are finally getting some fallish weather. I got beautiful white puffy clouds. We're gonna go ahead and go to the park and we'll kind of take you along with us. Long time since I filmed a podcast. I think my last podcast was late to mid-July and it's now mid-September. So hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is my channel about creating and using hand spun yarn, spinning and knitting and just life in general. My name is Lisa and I'm coming to you from a suburb of Chicago and it is a glorious September day today. It's the 18th of September 2020. So yeah, I'm so excited to be sitting in front of the camera again and touching base with some of my viewers. If you've contacted me through my email or Instagram or made a comment, I really appreciate it. And as a matter of fact, I got one this morning from a woman named Janie, and she was just checking in on me and wanted to know how I was doing. And I know the last time I filmed, I was talking about going back to work and, in the age of COVID. And in our school, we are doing fully remote. I teach high school, but I am going into the building and teaching mainly from school because school has a very robust computer services department and good Wi-Fi, and I'm finding it's easier for me to separate my home life from my work life if I actually physically go into work. Though I do have the option to work from home, and I have worked from home a couple of days. And I suspect if the weather gets bad, if we get some snowy, icy weather, being able to work from home would be really nice. So we're all well in the family. My son also is doing remote, and my husband's a nurse. He's more at the admin side now, so he doesn't really work with patients very much. So in today's episode, I want to just touch base with you to give you a progress update on my hand spun sweater. I've got a couple of new spins that I just finished washing, and just talk about some of my spindle spinning projects. And then at the end, I want to talk a little bit about what I'm reading, what I'm watching, and what I'm listening to. So let's jump right in. I think we'll jump right in with the hand spun project. So I am working on a hand spun Jacob jumper, and here it is, the progress so far. So it's different shades of Jacob wool. Most of the wool is from Dakota Carding and Wool. And but the white up here and the light gray at the top is from a fleece that I processed. So as you can see, it's light going into gray, a medium gray, and then I'm wrapping it up here with a dark gray at the bottom. And it is slow going. I have put it onto circular needles and tried it on, and it's quite an A-line shape. And I think that's because the yarn that I used around the neck was a little bit finer gauge than the rest of the yarn, and so what's happening is it's naturally just creating an A-line shape because my darker yarn is thicker. But I think it's going to be all right. Maybe the main goal of this was just to create basically a sweatshirt that I could throw on over something and just be nice and cozy. So this is coming along pretty well. I'm knitting it on size 6 needles. These are ebony needles. I think these were like Susan's needles or something. And yeah, I haven't had a ton of time or energy to knit since school started. I think we're 4 weeks in. I mean, it's just been so exhausting, just, working with the computer all day long and trying to help kids through these layers of technology. So by the time I get home, I'm just kind of fatigued, and, my knitting mojo hasn't been exactly where I would like it to be, but I am making progress, and I think I have to measure this. I'm comparing it to a tunic that I have, and I think I'm going to figure out, I think I'm almost done with the body. I'll finish it up with some ribbing. I also thought I could do a split hem on the bottom. We'll see. And then of course the sleeves, which is just as much knitting as the body almost, right? So that's my hand spun project I've been working on. I wish I had a little bit more progress to show you, but things are as things are. So now let's talk next about some of the yarn that I have finished. All these natural colors. I think I'll talk about this one first. So this is some Romney Wool. It was from a fleece I purchased from some lady on Facebook. I can't remember her name, but I'll link her below. This was a yearling fleece. The name of the sheep was Scarlet, I think. And I spun this from combed nests, my own hand combed nests, with a modified worsted draw. And I have to say, I think it just turned out beautiful. It's pretty consistent, and you can see the plies pretty clearly. That's like little grains of rice. It's very, very, very drapey. Romney is not a very elastic wool, so it's very drapey. I think it'll make a beautiful shawl. It's not the softest yarn, but because it was lamb's wool, it's definitely soft enough to wear as a shawl around your neck. But it's also durable enough. I had actually thought of maybe dyeing this and making a pair of socks, like a sport weight or DK weight sock pattern. So I was just really thrilled how this came out. I demoed how I was spinning this in a previous video. So if you've watched my previous videos, you can see me spinning some of this up. Yeah, I love after it comes out of the wash. It's so exciting to see what the final yarn's going to look like. Now I've struggled with my plying, so usually I'll put more ply in the yarn than I think I need. And when I take the yarn off the Nitty Knotty, it usually has about a twist, maybe a twist and a half. And then when I wash it and finish it, it hangs perfectly straight. And it's got a nice structure. Because I rest my bobbins, when I ply, the plied yarn will double back on itself. But I find that that's not a problem once you wash it. It's perfectly balanced. So that's the first one I finished. Then I've been working on Shetland, and I've got some progress with some of my Shetland fleeces. So I've got two Moritz, I've got a gray, and then I've got a white. So this one is a Moritz brown fleece from Psalm 23 Farm. It was a lamb's fleece I bought quite a while ago. And I carded this on my drum carder, and I spun it long draw on my Lendrum Saxony. And I plied it really, really tightly. I think I plied this a little bit too tightly. But as you see, it's still hanging perfectly straight. I don't have the yardage on any of these yet. So this is about 2 ounces. I had combed up 2 piles of nests that were 1 ounce each. I think that's kind of a nice, manageable size. So So there we have, it looks like chocolate mocha. And then this one is a spindle spun project from a fleece that I bought from Allen Creek Shetlands on Facebook. The shepherdess posted this fleece. It's she called it an aging moret, and she said it was going slightly gray. And I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, this one is darker than this one. Not by much, but it's definitely a little bit darker. And she said this was a grade 2 on the fine fleece Shetland chart. And it's really pretty. I think the fleece is Split Ear was the name of the ewe. And I believe I have some footage of me opening it up and looking at the fleece when I first got it. And so I will go ahead and insert that here if I can find that footage. So this is Split Ear. This is from Allen Creek. I've got it on Facebook. The shepherdess's name is Lois. And this is the last fleece that I'm going to purchase this season. So this is a 1927 standard dark moret, which is a brown, but it's starting to go gray. So here it is laid out on my laundry room floor. This is the front. It's the neck area. It's very well skirted, very clean. She graded this as grade 2 on the chart. It's very fine and very soft. Footage. And then this is a Wisconsin Shepherd. A lot of the fine fleece Shetlands are in the Midwest, it seems like. I know Jen Johnson's in New York, but I know the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival has a fine fleece Shetland show that they usually have. Unfortunately, Wisconsin Sheep and Wool was canceled this year, but so these are some smaller samples. There you can see the difference in the colors, I think, quite well here. Basically a sample. I got to spin a lot more to do my project. I want to make a hap shawl, but I haven't decided on colors or anything. I don't know if I want the body to be white and the borders to be browns and grays and blacks. I'm not sure. So speaking of Jen Johnson from Whispering Pines, Shetland, if you haven't checked out Jen's YouTube channel, I'll link her channel below. Her channel is called The Good of Work, and she's got such great content, and she's got lots of footage of her beautiful girls, she calls them, and boy, she's in good shape. I mean, she is just, piling hay and handling these sheep, and she's just amazing. Such a hard worker. It's like I'm really impressed with her. And she, the reason I brought Jen up is because this skein is from one of her fleeces that I purchased at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool some years ago. And she does not have this ewe anymore, but the ewe's name was Emma. And I combed this with my mini combs and spun it. Again, in a modified worsted, where I would leave some of the twist to get in between my hands. And I mean, look how pretty this turned out. It just turned out so pretty. I have to do some more of this. This is, yeah, I'm just, I'm just like, every once in a while I walk by and admire it. I wash it with Kookaburra wash. Kookaburra makes a scour and a wash, and the wash has the most lovely smell, and it's rinse-free. So it maintains that scent. So she described this fleece as fawn. And in her last episode, she talks all about the genetics and phenotypes and a lot of things that I don't completely understand. But because Emma had a spot, I guess she's not considered white, but she was fawn. But this is like a cream color. It's pretty white to me. So it's really, really pretty. So I've got that one. And then here's a little sample I made from a fleece that I purchased from Gordon Ramsay at that same Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival. And this was a Rude fleece, and it's a gray. And I found this in my stash. This is just a small spindle spun sample. I would say most of the fleece is a dark gray. It was a Rude fleece, so it doesn't have any shortcuts, and it's just a really lovely gray color. So I have to spin up more of this. Obviously not enough to do much with, but I think with the white and the brown, and then I have some black I'm going to spin up. It's just really, really so squishy, so lovely, such a lovely breed. So how are you? I forgot to ask you how you are doing. Oh. So what else do I have on my table? This was kind of some more Jacob that I spun. Again, this is not a very large sample, but I spun this as a gradient. So it's a very small sample. And as you can see, it's white going into gray. And I'm just this is from a bat that I made from a fleece. And what I'm going to do with this is incorporate it into my sweater. I think I'm going to incorporate it into the sleeves. So I'm going to have the sleeves go from light to dark to mimic the light to dark progression in the body. So yeah, this Jacob is nowhere near as soft as that Shetland, but it's got a nice crisp handle, and it's not itchy. It's just very crisp feeling, if you know what I mean. So those are all my hand spun. I just love the natural colors. I love spinning natural colors. I just, especially from raw fleece and hand prepared. It's just it's so easy to spin, and it's just a joy. So next up, I want to talk about my current spins. They're mainly spindle spinning, and then we'll wrap it up today talking about what I've been watching, reading, and listening. So I just finished spinning some Tussa silk on two of my Enid Ashcroft support spindles. And here it is. This is from Sweet Georgia, and the color is called Orchid, and it was originally 50 grams, and I got most of the two of these filled, and then I have a little bit more on a Turkish spindle that I'd started. This spindle here from Ian Tate, IST Crafts. This is canary wood, and it's really pretty. And then I just I'm really trying to work on my spindle spinning, so I finished these two. So now all I have to do is ply. Now this one here, this is a new spindle that I got from Enid. It's a burl. It's a piece of burl, and you can see burl is the kind of the knotted wood. And I ordered this spindle at the end of May. She had an update, and I just jumped on it. I'm so happy that her shop's doing well. So I jumped on it and I ordered it. I ordered it like, I don't know, May 25th. And on May 26th, it arrived to Chicago. I didn't receive the spindle until late August. The mail system, the postal service in the United States is really messed up. In the past, I've always had such wonderful luck with the postal service, but I'm not going to get into that. But just suffice it to say, Enid was wonderful. She even gave me a refund. We figured it was lost. She gives me the refund 3 weeks later. It shows up in my mailbox. So I had to contact her, and we all worked it out. But yeah, I finally got my spindle. I'm just not going to order anything for a while because it just seems like everything takes so long to get here. So this is my spindle. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful spinner. This is a bowl I got from Malcolm Fielding, and what I'm learning how to do is I'm learning how to spin the spindle with my right hand clockwise. It's much more ergonomic. I was spinning with my left hand. Josephine Waltine has a blog post about ergonomics and how she makes all of her students learn how to spin in both ways. So I'm becoming ambidextrous, so the spinning with my right hand, and then I'm drafting with my left, which was really messing with my brain. I was like having this like cross brain things going on, but I am getting much better at spinning the other way. So I'll insert a little demo here if I have time. I don't want to make the episode too long. Okay. So that's finished, and then I'm going to apply those together. I started a new spindle project. With 2 other Enid Ashcroft spindles that I have. And these 2, she's a wonderful maker. All of her spindles are unique and different. I mean, they're not mass produced. They're just beautiful to look at and beautiful to work with. This one here, I don't know what the wood is. This could be, she uses some sort of ebony, Ibano, some sort of manufactured black wood that simulates ebony. And then this is some sort of, maybe this is yew wood. I'm not sure. I have to look at the records there. But yeah, I'm spinning some purple alpaca on this one. And this is what I'm spinning. It's alpaca roving. Yeah, it's beautiful lavender. That's exactly the color. So I'm spinning it, and then I just started another one. This is one of her boardwalk spindles. So yeah, just fantastic spinners. Really, really pretty. Yeah, I was just finding that when I got home from work, I could just sit there and, watch the news on my iPad, watch a movie or something, and just spin. And it's just very, very relaxing. So I'll insert a demo here on how I'm spinning this. So let's see. So when I first started to support spindle, I would flick, kind of like Flegel, Susan Glinert does. She flicks with her left hand and drafts out with her right. And this is where I was getting this muscle memory spinning this way. Maybe I can show you on the table. Yeah. So I just put this in my lap here. But what I was finding is that there was a lot of strain, because what this Josephine says is you're pushing to get the spindle to move, and that's ergonomically not as it's more difficult than doing it this way. So when you do clockwise with your right hand, you're actually you're pulling in rather than pushing. And so first of all, I'm right-handed, so I'm getting quite a fast spin. And I find that I can spin longer this way. But the problem is I was having a hard time teaching my left hand to hold the fiber. So you can see what that just happened right there. So Yeah, so but what I've been doing is after work, I have just been sitting and spinning on my drop spindle here, or my support spindle. And I just flick and then I draft out. I hold it here. And then I do a temporary cop. And not too long. And there's my temporary cop. And then when I'm ready to store it on the bottom, is I take my hand, and this took a lot of practice because I'm used to doing this with my right hand when I drop spindles. So this, like, I had to practice this. Spinning's definitely a two-handed operation. You get all these singles on your hand, and then what you do is you then, let me move this down here so you can see. What you do is you just store it on the bottom. And the other thing is, see how easy, it's so much easier turning your spindle this way. And so I go up and down and I store it quite tightly. You want to keep the tension, as that's how what I read anyway, that you want to keep this tension because otherwise the yarn can get tangled when you're taking it off the spindle. So then you just take it off like this. I got quite a long bit of fiber there. I'm practicing, so I'm not really concentrating too much on being incredibly consistent. I'm just trying to get more proficient, but I am getting better. And then you're ready to go. Since it's combed top and I'm spinning long draw, I find it's long draw when you spin on a support spindle. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling out some of the fiber, and then I'm pulling out so it's just a staple length, and I'm separating and fluffing it. And then what I'm doing is I'm spinning from the fold. So I experimented with that, and then I also experimented with laying it out and rolling it into a faux rolag like that and spinning it that way. And I got some really good success doing that because I really, to spin combed top, long draw with all the fibers in alignment, I struggle with that a little bit. So I've been experimenting with different ways to get the combed top to be more of a woolen preparation. Just creating little mini rolags. So that's that. And then the last thing I'm working on is this beautiful fiber. This is some, look at it, it's Shetland. I'll show you the tag here. This is from Jen Johnson, Shepherdess Extraordinaire at Whispering Pines. And this is rude lamb's wool, and it's almost jet black. It's just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, rich color. And what she does is she hand flicks all the locks, and then she sends them through her carder and creates bats. So I'm spinning this on this spindle, which is one of my Elizabeth Daly spindles. Two women, Enid Ashcroft and Elizabeth Daly. Now, of course, you can't see that because it's black. But I'm spinning this long draw on this very, very lightweight spindle. And then I have a second one, similar weight that I'm going to work with. So I like to have more than one spindle, so I'll spin multiple cops and then I'll ply them together. Someone asked me how I ply from spindles. What I usually do is take the two spindles and create a very tightly wound 2-ply ball, and then I just spin it from the plying ball. The other thing you can do is wind each of the cops separately into its own little ball, and then, maybe put them in 2 cups or something, and then ply from the two balls. There's a lot of different ways that you can ply from your drop spindles. So I have 2 ounces of this. This was a 1 ounce bat, and she uses Tide when she washes her fleeces. And it is just something very comforting about the smell of this. I think my mom used to use Tide. Yeah, so just so super soft and squishy. Yeah, so I'm kind of using like a double draft on that, and I was going to demonstrate that here with some white fiber that I have so that you could see it a little bit. And then we'll just wrap up the episode. All right, so what I'm doing, first of all, I get my spindle started like this. I made a video in the last few months on how I drop spindle, and so most people will have you just do your short forward, right? Now, this method I'm going to show you here works really well with this super fine Shetland because it's so elastic. So what I do, first of all, in order to do this, you have to have a spindle that spins long and fast. And so this is a very lightweight spindle. It's probably about 0.7 ounces. And what I do is I give it a roll, and then I just spin out. See, I'm drafting, doing a long draw draft. Still spinning, so you got to have a really good spin. And then I butterfly it and wrap it on. So you get quite a long thread. So it makes spinning go a little bit faster. Now, sometimes what I'll do is I will do the thigh roll, and then I'll just grab an inch of the fiber and then double draft. So what I mean by that is when you spin, you can pinch off a piece of the fiber. This really works well. And then you double draft. This works really well with roving. This is a little comb nest here. So again, it makes it a little bit harder to do when you have comb top because of the alignment. But basically what you can do is you can pull out a slub and then double draft. So you double draft in between your hands. See, you got to have a long sustained spin. You don't want it to go backwards ever. And you get a very fast and a very light, airy yarn that you can ply and get a nice woolen yarn. So, yeah. I don't know if you can see that. Yep. So you can also go sideways, just horizontally. So I just wanted to close out the episode talking a little bit about what I've been reading, what I've been listening to, and what I've been watching. So this is a book I've been reading by Louise Penny. It's called How the Light Gets In, and this is one of her Inspector Gamache series. This series takes place in Canada, Montreal, in a little village called the Three Pines. And the books just get better and better. Every book is just better than the one before. I've enjoyed all of them immensely. Armand Gamache is this homicide detective, and you just fall in love with him and the characters of Three Pines. And so in each of the books, there's a mystery, a murder to solve, and then there's this thread, continuing narrative thread from throughout all the books. And this one's really neat because there's a dog as one of the characters. Henri is Gamache's German Shepherd, and he is the character just like all the others. So it just makes you want to find a little village like Three Pines where cell service is sketchy and Wi-Fi doesn't work, and there's a bistro, and where, you know, she always tells you what the people are eating, and the cafe au laits and the croissant and everything. It's just, it's really a really good series. I highly recommend it. I'm not a great reader. I like to do other things, and my attention span's always not the greatest, but slowly but surely I'm working my way through these series of books. Yeah, she just came out with a new one just a couple weeks ago that I bought, and it's set in Paris. Yeah, so if you're looking for a good series that you can just really get your teeth into and have one after the other you can read, it's been a treat, really. And then as far as watching, my husband and I started watching a show on Acorn. It's called Keeping Faith, and it's really good. It's set in Wales, and it's about this attorney who's this mother of three, and her husband goes missing, and it's really good. It's the art direction's great, the music's good, the acting's good. It's a little scary, but highly recommend that. And yeah, I watch probably too much news, you know, and I sometimes get too involved in the politics and current events of the day, and then I wonder why I get a little depressed and anxious. So I'm trying to move away from that and watch less news, and just keep aware of things going on, but you know, doing other things, because it's just things are really you know, things can look pretty bleak right now. The West is on fire, and, you know, there's hurricanes and floods and pandemics and, you know, poor leadership all around, and it's been a very stressful time for everyone, I'm sure. So, you know, finding a little escapist activities is a nice respite from all of that. And then the other thing that I've rediscovered lately is my love of music. I've always loved music. I played piano for a number of years, took lessons. I don't play anymore. My piano's woefully out of tune, but, you know, Chopin, Mozart, Debussy. I love music, and I hadn't really been listening to music that much until I got my new car. So I got a new car. It's been years since we bought a new car. And I got a Camry, and it's got all the bells and whistles, but the main thing is it has this wonderful stereo system, and I can play my Amazon Music through the Bluetooth. So, yeah, riding in your car, listening to some favorite music is just so fun. So I've rediscovered a singer-songwriter that a longtime fan. Her name is Mary Chapin Carpenter. And Mary Chapin Carpenter has a channel where she's doing songs from home. I will link her channel below, where she's in her kitchen with her dog Angus and her little kitty, and she sings songs just with her guitar. And she's a poet. Her lyrics are just so amazing. And one of the albums that is my favorite is her Age of Miracles, which came out in, I think, 2010. That one and Stones in the Road are fantastic, but Age of Miracles is such a beautiful album, and if you just take a listen and listen to her lyrics, it's very hopeful, it's very topical, and yeah, I come home and I'm singing, and, you know, the music's in my head, and I forgot how much I love listening to music, and so it's been a rediscovery for me. I will link her channel below, and then also maybe a couple of videos of her favorite, some of my favorite songs from her. And yeah, if you like singer-songwriters with really thoughtful lyrics, I highly suggest you check out Mary Chapin Carpenter. So that's about it. It's a Friday. It's the weekend. Yay! I'm all caught up with my schoolwork. It's a gorgeous day here in the Midwest. My sister's in California, and it's just smoky and bleak, and she sends me pictures, and it's a horrific. And so today when I walked my dog and I looked at the blue sky and I looked at the flowers and I saw a blue jay, and just thanked God for, all the gifts that I have. And I hope you're finding some beauty and joy in your life, and you're finding time to do the things you love to do. So until next time, friends, I hope you have a good week, and I'm going to try to post more frequently, maybe a couple times a month. I've made some real friends through the channel, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you real soon. This is my little marigold patch here. And then I had a wee brown-eyed Susan volunteer. And I've never used marigolds for natural dyeing, but I'm kind of tempted to harvest these before the frost. I hate to cut them now until there's a frost and they get nipped. So maybe the night before the frost I'll collect them, put them in a jar, and try some dyeing. The garden's a little messy. We've all been back at work, so we haven't been doing a whole lot of upkeep. There's the zinnias and our tithonias, which are, I believe they call them Mexican sunflowers. They have been spectacular as usual, and everybody loves them, the butterflies. And then the zinnias too are getting spent, but the goldfinches are stopping and landing and eating the seeds, which is kind of cool. We've had lots of butterflies in the garden, but you can tell this is going to be the last hurrah, I think. Hopefully we have another month before we have our frost. You see a lot of things have gone to seed. These are my coneflowers. Yeah, things are kind of petering out around here. It's a bittersweet time in the fall. So Peaches, are you ready for your walk? All right, let's go for our walk. Peaches likes to go into the garden bed and carry seeds everywhere. Hey, you girlfriend. You good girl? You're the best. We had a good walk, didn't we? Did we have a good walk? Yeah. This is our begonia here. Isn't it pretty? Begonias like the cool weather, don't they? Just like Mommy. I love the cool weather. Not too cold. It is a glorious day today. Absolutely glorious. I feel so bad for people that are out west. Where the skies are filled with smoke. So grateful for today. Picture. Last day in the Northwoods. You look good, baby. The colors are so pretty this morning.
It's too late to jump in the lake.
Yeah. But look how smooth it looks.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like this last night when I came out. There was a hush of breeze.
Yeah. So pretty.
I could almost hear the stars moving in the sky.
Yeah.